Hi, can I help you? Oh, you're here for the, of course, yes, let me just change. This is so unprofessional because I'm wearing the wrong hat. This was for my last client. Mom, they're here. I don't know what I'm doing. My name's Drew Monson. My mom's not actually here. This is a private moment between you, the viewer, and me, Mr. Monson. This is my second channel where I just talk, kind of like a podcast, but without the glamour. I was trying to start the video by sounding like one of those people who asked you if like they can help you at the store, but it kind of seems like they're mad at you. It's like, yeah, you can help me, but do you want to? You don't seem like you want to. I feel like you want me to say no, you can't help me, so I'm gonna leave you alone because I'm a good man. But I'm not gonna say that. I'm a bad man and I need help. Don't cut that out. Don't edit that out and send it to my ex. Just kidding. Hi. So today I want to talk about a lot of different things. I want to talk about H. Styles. That's what Harry Styles' name would be if you took out the airy. That's not a funny joke. I wanted to also talk about how I made a Patreon. I made a Patreon where it's $5 a month for you to get a longer version of this video. At the end, I'm just gonna like say bye to this channel and talk about, I don't know, probably something that I don't want to talk about on YouTube. Maybe not every time, but I'm sure that, you know, I can be a little freer and come up with some stuff. And then $10 a month, I have a bunch of unreleased music on there. I'm gonna do like live streams on there only for Patreon. And then once a month, I'm gonna try to do an actual one of these just for Patreon. And I know if you're like broke, you feel excluded and mad at me, and I don't mean to make you boo. I never wanted you to boo. You're not from Monsters, Inc. That is classic Pixar. Listen. I was gonna go, haha, Pixar humor, like Squidward, but I felt like it would sound like I was trying to be cute. Like, oh, remember SpongeBob? Do you know they have like SpongeBob minis now? They have like I was reading about it. The guy died who created SpongeBob, and then they made like SpongeBob Junior babies, SpongeBob babies, as if they all knew each other when they were babies. I don't mean to like go off on this because I want to talk about H. Styles, but who says that didn't SpongeBob and Squidward meet at work? Why would they be hanging out at a daycare, an underwater daycare? Why would Sandy Cheeks go anywhere near Plankton when she was a babe? She still is a babe. How old is she? Sandy Cheeks has to be at least like in her 40s. That's crazy to realize this whole time. Sandy Cheeks is like about to go through menopause. I've been having a hard day today, and my walls are making that like, your neighbors are using the shower or the toilet. You know when you flush the toilet and for like an hour afterwards, it's just like making, that sounded like a robot, but it's just like making that someone use the toilet or like that pipes noise. God, I hate apartments. I guess that's you could have that happen in a mansion. Elon Musk could have that happen. Okay, I turned the camera off and I was going to restart the video, but then I had an idea. Elon, more like E-Girl Musk. What if someone changed their name to E-Girl Musk? I bet someone on Twitter is named that. Also, I had an idea when I was talking about Squidward. If SpongeBob was around now, they could call, he would probably call the Krusty Krab more like the cringy crab. Like that would be kind of a current, but he can't because now they have baby version of SpongeBob, and the creator said he didn't want that. I forgot to say that. He said he didn't want that. What I was gonna say is at the beginning, when I talked like one of those people at the store going, hi, can I help you? And it sounds like they're angry. I had one of those moments yesterday. I'm gonna try to explain this without interrupting myself, where you know when you're like on the phone with like some kind of business or a place where you're like doing forms or insurance or whatever, and they make it sound so easy. They're like, oh, come in, or someone tells you to talk to somebody else. But then when you get to the somebody else place, like you go in office and they're like, oh, there's a form waiting for you, just come in. The person that you see is like, what? Like they look at you like you just made up the most insane story you've ever heard. I swear, I went to an office building the other day and a lady on the phone said, come in and sign a paper. And I got there and went, oh, I'm here. Like you think you almost don't even need to say anything. Oh, I'm Drew. And they're gonna go, the paper! But they always go, paper? Like they've never heard of signing a paper. Oh, you wanna put your name on the paper? What? Maybe I was just talking to somebody who was on drugs. I don't know. It was in an alley. I was told to sign a paper in an alley and they were gonna show me how to be a good person. That's what Instagram says. That's not true. Instagram doesn't say that. I ran out of things to say and I said that's what Instagram says. Instagram doesn't say that. Instagram says that, I don't know, everyone's a narcissist except you. I think that's what Instagram has been telling me. But you ever see those things that are like, 50 texts that a monster sends. And I'm like, oh no, I set number 4. I did number 4 a few times this year. I'm constantly in that battle with myself where it feels like Instagram is telling me that I'm so toxic. And I think the idea is that I'm supposed to look at that and go, yeah, everybody else does this. But sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm the worst. I hope that you can relate to that. What is your name? Okay, it took me like 10 minutes to get to this, but I wanted to talk about this thing that happened where I guess it was New Year's Eve, last New Year's Eve. Can you believe it's 2022? And now it's that moment where like, feels like 2019 was 3 years ago, you know what I mean? I was thinking about that too. 2019, what an ugly name for a year, and what an ugly time in my life. And like, I feel like 2019, I was kind of I thought that everything was good, and looking back on it, I'm like, ooh, that was kind of nasty. I'm not gonna get specific about that, but for some reason when I think of 2019, I'm like, that was nasty. I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't kissing. I didn't kiss the whole year. That was my New Year's resolution. I'm gonna kiss next month. I did a 3-year New Year's resolution in January 2019 that I won't kiss. And now I'm ready. And I've got the chapstick. I got the Burt's Bees. I used to always get my sister Burt's Bees for Christmas because one time she told me like, that's the good stuff, Drew. And I was like, then I'm gonna get it for you for 10 years. She always seemed excited. I like to buy something at Target. It's like one of those things that you just walk down to go to the cash register and it's just like screaming at you from the sides of the aisles like, here's more Burt's Bees, Burt's Bees. My favorite section at Target was always the place that had the trading cards because I used to love wacky packages. If you don't know what wacky packages is, look it up. It's not that interesting. Check out Wikipedia. I don't know, man. What do you want from me? Okay, I tweeted Harry Styles. Hi, hello, can I talk? You're literally talking about a British pop star and you're not consulting with your 21-year-old British son? You sound like you're doing a fake British accent. You have a real one. Why are you talking? I get confused. I hate vlogging. I know, you don't like this whole thing. I'm not meant to be a star, am I? You're being manipulative. I know you're fishing. I know you want... I'm not toxic. You are. Narcissist. I think his name is Instagram. We found the little British boy's name. His name is My Instagram Algorithm. Do you think there is any child on planet Earth named Algorithm? Not important, but you could call them Al for short, and that is important. So I tweeted on New Year's Eve. I thought it's just this funny sentence popped into my head that was like shocking, and it just read as funny when I tweeted it. It was, do you think that Harry Styles even knows that it's New Year's? Nope, too busy eating. I'm not gonna say it because this is YouTube, which for some reason I think is NBC, but you know, eating, let me give you a hint, watermelon sugar, okay? Which the joke to me was like, he's been very proud of that. I feel like he's always talking about it like, don't forget, I'm a good boy when I hang out with a woman, and yay, it's so nice to look at that, yay, woman sugar. And okay, not always woman. I know, I want to do the thing where I'm not trying to be the guy who's afraid of offending people, but I do agree with the, you know, body parts have no gender thing. Like true from the dictionary, right? Sex, gender, we get it. Okay. And I'm not trying too hard to be nice. I can't just tell you that. Okay, listen. And I tweeted that, and I've been doing this thing for a long time, I guess, where I kind of lightly troll fandoms in a ironic, like, I actually like Harry Styles. Like, one of his songs about like a dining room table or the kitchen or something, it's on my December playlist. Are you freaking out right now? Are you nutting around these days? I mean, I'm a fan of the guy. I mean, I think he's cringy in a lot of ways. I think he's very curated, but my mom likes him. You ever think that something is like kind of cringy and then you find out your mom likes it and you're like, that movie's not so bad, mom likes it. You know what I mean? Mom? You like it. Anyway, so the fans, I've always done this thing where I'm like kind of just like 5 years ago it was the 1975. Like everyone's profile picture, it used to be this band called the 1975, who I think is still popular, but I would just talk about them. I'd be like, their album title is creepy, because it kind of was. It literally was like, you're so pretty when you're falling asleep because you don't know where I am anymore and I can do whatever I want. It was like scary. I don't know, that's not what it meant, but anyway, I'll just tweet something and kind of get the stans riled up, the stannies. But people know that I'm doing it with a wink, like I'm making fun of the idea of doing that, which is an excuse. So I tweet that, but I've never had this kind of reaction, which first of all, if you do something like that, there's always one person who's like, uh-oh, Drew, like, you better delete this, wait till they find it, you better hope they don't find this, like this vague they, as if it's like the Babadook. I'm like, I can handle, I'm not one of those people who's like, cyberbullying isn't real, turn off your tablet, he, like, no. I've had horrible experiences, like, publicly and privately, being like, harassed by, you know, it's like a real thing. So much of our life takes place digitally, but someone with a Harry Styles profile picture being like, you are so dumb, I hate you, I can handle it. I'll like watch a movie and come back and you can do that while I'm out, you know, that's okay. But there'll always be someone who's like, look out. Oh, you have no idea what's coming. It's like, I'm not even, by the way, with that tweet, I didn't make fun of anything. He said that's what that song is about, but apparently, and let me just say, I'm not judging these people at all before I talk about it. I have many strange obsessions. I have, not that it's strange, the guy who's so afraid to offend anybody, literally that's me. As if that's a character. Let me just do a character for my entire life of the guy who's afraid to offend people. But you know, I was gonna talk about these people, I think they're called Larrys, which I kind of knew. I am kind of afraid of making people angry, but I guess the only thing they're gonna do, I feel like there's a certain sector of like fandom that a lot of it is just, it's about getting angry on the person's behalf, and that's like just a hobby, like it's kind of like a sport, like we're chess club, we play chess, we're the stands, we get mad, you know, like maybe that's just a thing, and that's okay. And like if you're 14, 15, and I said this on Twitter in reply to someone, if you need a place to like put your angst when you're 14, go ahead, like I'll mute the replies, like do it. You do need that. You know, I need it still, and I'm only 17. When I shave, by the way, I feel like you can see a little more like wrinkles, but I like them. Okay. That is a tip also, if you can grow facial hair, let your facial hair grow out till it's scraggly, and people are like, some people are like, oh, that's kind of nice, I like it, like they're rationalizing it as good, then shave and everyone will be like, your skin looks amazing. But all it means is that there's not weird spotty hair all over it. My skin looks okay. I'm not gonna throw an egg at ya. That's a phrase I just made up. Anyway, yeah, there's this like section of Harry Styles stans that are Larrys, which means they believe, I guess, that what is the guy? His name's not Larry in One Direction. That two of them are dating, and that Harry Styles does not actually like women. He's not even bisexual. He is fully gay. And so my tweet referencing what I thought he said publicly about Watermelon Shug Shug was denying them that belief. But I was thinking about it, and there was so much like actual anger coming my way. And I kind of got it, because I feel that way about stuff that, like, all the time. Someone will like a movie publicly that I don't like, and I feel threatened, like, oh, so I'm dumb. Oh, so I'm a dumb guy because I didn't like the movie on Netflix. Thank you. You know? So I feel like it's just kind of one of those, like, sensitive things. Like, we're all constantly firing to the wrong place, you know? But it was just so interesting that it was literally like, how does this have 4,000 likes? I don't get it. I am so... And I believed them. And I realized that they might as well be saying their own name when they say Harry Styles. Like, at a certain point, it can't be about Harry Styles. It can't be about Larry. Because it wouldn't matter that much. It's about putting your identity in. I'm kind of like read articles about this too, like putting your identity into something. I do it too. A celebrity, a podcast, a Twitch person, and thinking that you're obsessing over them when really you're sticking up for them, you're sticking up for yourself, because like they are you, and they tell you that. They're like, we're gonna be #1, we're gonna get to #1, tweet my song 1,000,000 times and like, you'll be #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, you know? And like, so if someone is like, you know, BTS sucks or whatever, which I am quoting a hypothetical, but you know, it feels like they're saying you suck, because if that's you and your image online in this digital world we spend a lot of time on is one of those people, I bet a part of your brain you're not even aware of is like, that person just called me ugly because they called Harry Styles ugly, you know? It's kind of, I don't judge it, and I think that a sense of community is literally the only thing all of us are looking for all of the time besides food and watermelon sugar. Ew, that felt gross to me. That felt like 2019 nasty. Can I talk? Hello? I keep forgetting about him. I think I'm too tired to do him today. I don't know. Would you be mad if I didn't do the British boy? I'm having chills on my body. You ever get chills and then you Google chills? Like, what does chills mean? It always says sign of infection. But then you Google, can anxiety cause chills? And it's like, yeah. And you're like, is anxiety an infection? And it's like, no. And you're like, then I guess you were wrong. You ever do that? Anyway, yeah, I guess I'm saying something people know. Stans wrap up their identity. But it really struck me on New Year's Eve. That's what I was thinking about. As the clock struck midnight and I was going into the new year, I thought, I think that this 17-year-old is a little bit too invested in the sexuality of Harry Styles, and I totally understand it at the same time. And I wonder if it's even real anger. I wonder if it's just kind of like fun. And sometimes I wonder when I see someone like that, you ever see someone on Twitter and they usually have like someone else's picture and you go, who is that for real? Like if I walked by that person at the mall, because sometimes it'll just be rabid, it'll be anger, it'll be like this edgelord type of humor with just like disgusting words and images, and you're like, you imagine in person, like if we were at Barnes and Noble together, I just imagine like like a possum. I'm not saying Harry Styles stands or possums, but you know what I mean. Some other person who's like wild. Or would they just be like just like me, like person just like having a sweater and going, oh, excuse me, do you have Apple Pay? Like just that kind of guy. Which, by the way, sometimes I will feel so confident and honestly, not to brag, but manly. Not to brag, but I've felt manly before. I'll be feeling like my outfit looks good. I made a funny Instagram story and it got more shares than usual. That type of vibe. And I will then like have this masculine thing going on, and the second I like walk into a store and like have to talk to somebody, I will hear my actual voice of like, especially that nervous voice, because I have like I can talk like this and I can get like, I never talk like that, but you know, I can talk like this, but then the second I do like that phone nervous guy voice. You know, people have the phone voice. Mine is very scared. Because some people is like overly cheery and fake nice. Mine's like, hello? Hi? Like I sound like I was kidnapped and I'm trying to like make sure no one else hears. I'm just like in the closet. Hi, do you have Apple Pay? But yeah, sometimes I'll just like walk in with this swagger, and then the second I'm like, Drew Monson, is my prescription ready? And I'm like, wait, I thought I was somebody else on the way here. Does that make sense? No? What are some other things I wanted to talk about besides that? Nothing else really happened. Yeah, people just quote tweet you for a while. And I also don't, it's like this weird moment where if you offend somebody, even if I think that they don't have a real reason and that I know it doesn't really make sense in my opinion logically, I still feel kind of like, not bad in that I'm gonna feel guilty and like think about it as I'm trying to fall asleep, but kind of like, oh, that's just like not the best feeling to know that something you did could have this ripple effect that like but I think that if someone is getting upset over that, there was something inside of their psyche that was gonna come out in some way, and this just happened to be it, you know? And that's probably gonna happen to me later today. When I'm like, you know, walking along and I hear a motorcycle. I do hate the sound of a motorcycle, but the anger I feel probably is just something that was in there 10 minutes earlier and like has to be let out. And it's honestly a good situation because the motorcycle's like, he can't even see me get angry. And if he could, oh boy, he'd get off his motorcycle and say he was sorry. And that's all I really want when a motorcycle goes by me so loud. I just want them to go, oh, I'm sorry, was that too, I'm sorry. Can I sell this? Do you want it? And then I go, yeah, here's a check for $3,000, and then I torch it. I torch it with a flamethrower from a video game. What? What else did I write down? I am getting hungry, but I'd rather, do you ever have that moment where you're like, I'd rather be hungry for a little bit longer than eat something that might give me a either psychological or physically bad reaction. I don't encourage that, and I will eat soon, but I'm like, if I eat those chips right now, I'm gonna start feeling a little bit anxious, and that's probably the placebo effect. I was thinking about chips also. I realized the other day, because I have this issue with potato chips especially, where you know how there's that whole thing where like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, I started hearing people talk about like McDonald's and all these brands and these like scientists who like knew how the brain worked, and they made fast food and all these snacks like in this millennium or whatever so addictive because they've, you know, advanced scientifically, technology-wise, I don't know. They've made some program that basically makes potato chips like a drug, and your brain reacts the same way. If you didn't, I think everyone watching this knows that already, but I love the idea that I'm blowing someone's mind. There's like a 5-year-old watching this is like, I knew the Big Mac was too good. That would be cute. I think I used to say that when I was 5 all the time. I knew the Big Mac was too good. You could say that when you're watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Okay, isn't there a guy named there on Max? I think I need chips. Okay, listen. I was having this moment where I thought about that, and I sat down, and let me just show you how big this bag of chips is. This is how big the bag of chips is, and these are so good. And I eat this, I'm not kidding, in a minute and a half. And you know, I have this moment when I eat food, and when I used to eat a lot of ice cream, where I go, I think that I may have just broken a record. I think that I'm better at that than anybody else. And I really believe that. I'm like, no one, it would only be like a pint, which is kind of a common thing, but I have this specific type of like, I'm so unique shame, where I'm like, I don't think anyone's ever eaten the whole pint. What an insane thing to do, even though millions of people all around the world are doing it. That's kind of a comforting thing, right? Next time you eat a pint of ice cream, go, millions of people. Do you think millions, how many people that's my question for today in the comments. How many people at once, at any given moment, are eating a pint of ice cream? And when is the peak time? Is it midnight or is it morning? That would be strange. I guess you also got to factor in time zones. I guess you also got to factor in that that's not a very interesting question at all. No one wants to talk about that. That should be factored in as well. But I will eat this so quickly and then feel this kind of, you know when you just kind of black out a little bit? I guess trigger warning. I'm not talking about like binge. I'm just talking about eating something very quickly and then regretting it. But not in like a way where I'm deciding to, you know? And then you kind of come out of it and you're like, oh, like you almost didn't realize that's what you were doing, and you're like, okay, all I know is I heard crunching for 2 minutes and now something that was in front of me isn't anymore, you know? And I will feel this, I think I feel anger. I feel, when I learned that about them making food addictive, I feel so mad at whoever did that. If you were on any team that made food, fast food, and mixed, you know, the sugary with the salty and did it in a certain way that my neurons light up, I hate you. I'm so mad at you. You've given me lots of joy, you've given me amazing moments, but you've given me a lot of shame, and you've given me a lot of feelings of being out of control, and I am so mad at you. You shouldn't have done that. I just wanted to say that, because what if this video gets like 50,000 views, maybe one person like wrote the software that they like genetically modified these chips. What are the chances of that? Okay, anyway, I'm gonna have a look, but watch this. I did this in one of my other videos. If I eat like a few of these, I swear I will start bouncing off the walls. And I realize that you probably are thinking, isn't that what you're doing already? No, I mean literally, I will bounce off the walls like Inception. I mean, genuinely, 2010 Leonardo did Manuel Miranda. I'm not going to eat these right now because I think that there is kind of a creative energy that comes with hunger. I just don't want you to see me do my thing. It's so difficult sometimes. Also, speaking of food, speaking of the store, trying my best to transition, do you ever have that moment at the store where like you feel like you're frustrating everyone? Like sometimes I have this realization or this question in my head where I'm like, am I just annoying to strangers? Because you know that thing that everyone does where like you're trying to get by someone, then you go the wrong way, and then you're doing that like little dance. And I always do it, it always ends with them getting mad at me. Like I never do one with somebody where they're like, they're the one who keeps doing it. It's always me doing it like 5 seconds too long and they go, excuse me, like that moment, excuse me. And I'm always like, I just want to like wear a sign on my shirt that says, or just wear a shirt that says like, I'm not trying to make your day worse, I'm just freezing up. I don't know, I'm not trying to sound weird, I'm just mumbling because I'm worried. Like, I don't know how to I just want to like grab people sometimes, in general. Watermelon sugar. Ew, sorry. No. Okay, but you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm not here to hurt anybody. I freeze up. And this is another thing. This might just make me sound scary. I'm curious if this is relatable to anyone. You know when you're like at the store and you are looking at like a shelf. Let's say you're in the chip aisle. Let's say that I am very frequently. I'm not lying. Why would I lie about that? What a weird lie. And you're looking at the chips, but then someone else is like parallel to you, and you want to look at what they're in front of, but you don't want them to think that you're looking at them. So then you look at them to see if they're looking at you, looking at them, even though you're not looking at them. But then you realize, oh no, now I am looking at them. And they look at you like that. You know when you have that moment where you realize someone thinks that you're a threat? And you're like, no, I swear this started with chips. You were just like you were at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that place is those pretzels. And the time is, what time is it? No one wears watches anymore. That's not true. Rich people wear watches. Huh. Good point. Yeah, I just feel like every time I go to the store, I'm just always having these moments where people are like, what is it? Or when I'm asking, whenever I've been to a customer service thing, it's always like I'm always getting people looking at me like the question I asked doesn't even register as a question. I'm like, oh, I went to the store, the grocery store the other day. I feel like this thing is happening where I'm reading more about like, I don't know, capitalism, and I'm trying not to sound smarter than I am, but I also am like registering more that it's horrible and like kind of to blame for a lot of the things that frustrate me about the world. But so I kind of have this thing where I'll see someone at the grocery store with the logo of the store on it, and I'm like, I shouldn't bother them. You know, that's a 20-year-old who's like not getting paid enough, and I shouldn't create more labor for them. Like, am I taking it too far? I don't know. But I walked up to this girl, because I always feel, you feel a little annoying when you're like, hi, you know how you're stocking shelves? Can I give you another assignment right now? But you're allowed to do that, right? Because lately I've been feeling like, okay, I just said that I don't do it, but I do it. I asked this girl where the gluten-free stuff was, and she goes, I don't know, like, I think it's just everywhere. And I was like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, part of me is just like, I know that you're doing something else, but God, you don't have to lie to me. You know everything in this store is not gluten-free. Honey, there's bread. I thought that was so funny, because I had to give it to her. Like, that is the best way to not answer a question. You know, when they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna say like 10 more words and they won't mean anything to you. And you're just like, okay, I see that. And that's okay. I'm not mad at them. I just wanted to know it, and I found out where it is. The gluten-free stuff is always next to like the Asian foods. They always have like an Indian spices area. I'm serious, it says like Asian foods. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. Except for Harry Styles. Because he has more money than me and people like him more, I'd like to hurt his feelings. That's not true. Anything else I wrote down? How long have I been doing? Oh, 25 minutes. We got a ways to go, hun. Oh, okay, so the other day, I was walking, I'm a walker. I talked about this. I do not drive. Like, once a month, a friend will ask me, like, kind of like they're pressuring me and kind of like they're judging me. You ever think you'll learn to drive? Anyone out there who doesn't drive, you ever have someone go, you ever think it's maybe time to, and I always go, nope. And they're always shocked by like how short, because I think most people who don't drive are like, yeah, when I'll get to it, it's like a procrastination. For me, it's like, no, I've decided that one thing I'm going to commit to is I will never drive. And it must be good for the environment. And I mean, I'm like Justin Bieber. What? I just blacked out a little bit, and the sentence that came to my head was, and I'm like Justin Bieber. Which is true, I can sing. And I was like, I don't want to get copywritten, but you knew where that was going. Watermelon. So I was walking because I do that. And this is a horrible world for pedestrians, let me tell you. Crosswalks, did they get like 20 times longer? And I see all the I'm sorry if you have a car, I bet you do and you're driving around, but when I am being a pedestrian, when I go into pedestrian mode, I look at cars with such judgment. I'm like, oh, look at you, go into your place and you gotta guzzle up the gas because it's so important that you can't just walk to the grocery store and get your gluten-free hamburger buns. There's no time limit. There's no deadline on gluten-free hamburger buns. Get out of that Tesla. But my friend, I guess ruined the story. But basically, I was walking on the crosswalk and I see this car, like, you know, I'm walking, they're right there. By the way, whenever someone explains to me something like this, I always am like, I don't get it. Like right away when someone's like, so I got in a little fender bender. I was on 7th. I go, no, don't like it. I don't get it. You, like, show me a video of it happening or I'm not listening. Not true. I sound like the worst friend ever. Am I? Instagram, stop! Instagram isn't here. I'm here and you won't talk to me. I'm literally so toxic. I've been giving little British boy algorithm, his name's Algorithm, the silent treatment, this whole video. And you didn't even realize, did you? The twist ending is that I've been manipulating this whole time right under your nose and you didn't realize. You know why? Because you're manipulating him too. You didn't say hi to him, did you? You didn't even say good morning. Bet you didn't know it was 9 a.m. Just kidding, it's 3. It's 3:23. Gotta love a palindrome time. What time is it for you? 4:15? Someone watching this, it's 4:15. Crazy, right? Get ready, 5 minutes from now, you're gonna be flying high. Watermelon sugar, okay. I just got sad. So I'm walking and I see this car and you know when you're like waiting at the crosswalk and you see the cars are like parked, I always feel like they're my audience a little bit, which shows that I might be a narcissist in like a fun way. You know, I'm kind of like, oh, they're watching me wait for the crosswalk. Cause someone will say to this like, no, everyone's thinking about themselves. But I'm like, no, when I'm like at a crosswalk in someone else's car, because I've never been in my own car, I will look at the person waiting at the stop. I'll probably be thinking about myself, but I'll like check out what's going on with that person, think about their pedestrian life. And I kind of look up and I see like someone go drill, and I kind of start making that like, oh, I'm being recognized face, and I'm like, like, okay, thank you so much. I am very famous, but I don't have time. I don't know. I feel like that's what it looks like sometimes. Like you don't want to be like, oh my God, hi, let's talk, but you also don't want to look mad. So I was just like, oh yeah. And then I realized that it's my friend and her sister. And she goes, oh, you thought we were just a fan? And they were like saying it playfully, they weren't being mean, but I was like, I was so embarrassed. Cause like I did, and I was making that face. Like they're not supposed to see that face. That face that says, I am cool. Yeah. The camera turned off because I talked for too long. I was also in it, that was a horrible thing, but this was an interesting one. Yesterday, I was in the same situation and I was walking on the crosswalk and there was a guy, one of my audience members was there, and I hear someone go, are you Drew Monson? But it's like a man, like around my age, but like in a truck. And this is how like, this is how infrequently I get like recognized by like a guy in a truck. I thought he was pranking. I literally thought he was gonna like beat me up. Like that he had seen my videos and he was like a troll. Because it just doesn't happen. I thought he was I looked like to the passenger seat to see if there was someone like, oh my God, dude, yeah, like mess with him, go, let's do this, Rodney. Rodney? There's no way. His name was definitely Matt. And he goes, are you Drew Monson? He goes, I've always wanted to be your friend. And it was like really sweet. And he goes, can I shake your hand? Which I'm like at the push the button thing, and I'm gonna walk up to him, and I said no. I was like, oh, and you know when you say no to something, and you come up with a reason really fast, that's a lie? I go, no, I'm on the phone, and I wasn't. I wasn't on the phone, I was listening to music, and that also isn't a reason why you can't shake someone's hand. But during COVID / I was kind of afraid that he was a troll who was gonna kidnap me. those are I think I'm just gonna I'm running out of things to talk about on this channel. I'm just going to reference every time I'm recognized. Because it's usually kind of an awkward story. I don't think there's ever an interaction where I'm like, whatever Markiplier acts like, which is probably like very cordial, and he literally acts like Joe Biden. He's like, hello? There's my Joe Biden impression, by the way. What do you think? It's nasty, I hate it. What is this, 2019? You literally don't start. That's actually making me sad. But you know what? It's like a TV show. This is the episode, and then next episode we'll make up. It's like, see if they get along later. Okay, there was like a couple more things. Oh, I wanted to say, well, maybe I'll talk about this on Patreon. I'm gonna talk about it on my Patreon because I want to talk about what my ex said about these videos. And I did ask for permission to talk about it, but it made me kind of insecure. And I'm sorry if that makes you upset, because I do hate it when someone references something you can't know. And in this world where like we can know so many things, it's so specifically like newly upsetting to not get access to something that is like an actual feeling that is like genuinely frustrating. You know, it's not like you're just me, I want everything. Like, no, we're just used to it, and when you don't get what you're used to, you have every right to be rude. And Harry Styles will tell you that. He's like, where's my sugar? Just kidding. No, he would never. Stop. I'm not doing nothing. One chip, do you mind? If you don't like hearing people eat, skip forward 5 minutes. I'm gonna do the whole bag. No, this is gonna get sad. Just kidding. How can I? Isn't it weird that you, like that Pavlov dog thing? You took psychology, you've Googled the Pavlov dog. If you don't know, which I'm not trying to be rude, if you don't know, there was this thing where a guy had a dog, he named it Pavlov, and he used to take it on walks. It's really weird. Just kidding. I don't even know. I'm like, so Pavlov used to have a dog, and he liked eating food, and it's very strange. And he also went to the circus, and he was a circus dog. No, but Pavlov, never mind. I think it's interesting that I'm like the Pavlov dog, because when I pick up a chip, my stomach growls more, and it's just strange how connected my body is to my brain sometimes when it's like, oh, is that right, stomach? You saw food? It's kind of cute. Like, if I see a commercial of someone eating, like, greasy pizza, my stomach starts growling. Like, I'm always like, oh, you're hungry, aren't you? How sweet. It's good to see your body as a sweetie. Like, when you have issues in the bathroom, just go, oh no, what happened? No, that would actually be really scary. And then someone hears you from outside, they're like, are you okay in there? You seem to be being kind to yourself, but it's making me uncomfortable. Do you mind stopping? Oh, do I mind stopping being kind to myself? Yeah, what are you gonna gaslight me next? I'm posting about this on my Instagram. It's called toxic people _ is defined by anyone who is not you. That literally is what the internet does. It gives you an algorithm that either upsets you or tells you that everyone is wrong besides you. Every fight you've ever been in was someone else's fault. You ever see someone retweet one of those vague things on Twitter that's like, when people think that, and I'm always like, sometimes it'll be someone who it's like, you literally did that to me last week. Like, what are you talking about? Come on. And maybe I didn't give a specific enough example. There's like these, Twitter has turned into this place where it's just these very vague posts about like, that moment when someone says you're, or them, you're pretty, me, okay, so marry me. I see that every day. But it is kind of, that is like a very human emotion for someone to, I can actually really relate to that when someone compliments you and you're like, okay, so what now? Are we doing this? Not always, but I mean, okay. Oh, here's another thing I thought of. Okay, so I was thinking the other day, because I am someone who, I have had a podcast going in my ears for like 40% of the day since I was like maybe 14. Like, I've been listening to certain podcasts for like 13, 14 years. Like, and I was thinking about it, like, it is so insane that this person, I have heard their voice like more than people I would call very, very close friends. And I wake up, I turn on an episode I've heard already. Like, there is one podcast, I've listened to every episode like 3 times, and there's like 1,000 episodes. And I realized that the other day, because sometimes I'll like kind of judge someone who's like, oh, I'm watching, you know, season 12 of Dr. Phil for the 15th time, and I'm like, really, dude? Like, there's you know that there's movies, right? Like, good movies. But then I am completely that person. Like, I have comfort stuff filtering in through my ears all the time. It makes me happy. I have a parasocial relationship with them. They don't know who I am. I am very glad. If they ever did, I would be nervous, and it works out. But then I was thinking, I wonder if sometimes it's not good, because I think what I've decided that I feel like could be incorrect is that when I am feeling overwhelmed and anxious, a good thing to do is to distract myself, which is probably true. But I wonder sometimes when I put my headphones on, and you know when you just have that like thoughts going through your head, and it's like it actually won't stop, and you like you're like, okay, just stop for 1 second. Nope, you're still going. Like it's just like a leaky faucet that's just psh, psh. To add on, like if the faucet is already, if the pipe has already burst and it's like going like this, adding on more noise, you know what I mean? Is that going to help? I'm trying to think of the right metaphor for it, but I feel like you get it. Like, if I'm already having thoughts that are because sometimes I'll turn it on and it's like, now I've just got 2 voices going. Or if there's more people on I've got 3, I've got me and then 4 other white guys that are like screaming at me. Like it doesn't, I don't know if it always helps to this, like, I guess that's like an obvious thing that we're trying to like find comfort in digital stuff, and we have access to all these things, and it's not always, it ends up doing the exact opposite. But I think sometimes I'll just like, oh, I need to do this is my coping mechanism. I'm having anxiety, so let me blast something into my ears and eyes or whatever, and that will solve it, or that is what is good. That's what I've been told is good. But I think it ends up it reminds me of when I used to smoke. I used to be like, I don't feel good, I'm gonna go smoke. And then I would smoke and I would feel worse, and I'd go, well, looks like I've just ended up feeling worse for absolutely no reason at all. And I would never blame it on the cigarette, ever. Until I did, and then I quit smoking. Wow, that's a story. That was kind of powerful, right? Boom. I am proud that I quit smoking. I think I quit 6 months, it's almost been 7 months. I'm smoke-free for almost half a year, and I was like a pack and a half, 2 packs. I was thinking of making a video about quitting smoking one day, but that's a secret for another time. Anyway, I wanted to do another thing. I had an idea for this little podcast, I don't know, YouTube channel, where I just sign into my YouTube account and read the comments, see what the most recent ones are. I have no idea, no matter what they say, if they're mean, it'd be horrible. I open it, it's like, you look really weird wearing that green sweater. Why the black beanie? It's just like, oh, that's right, they have access to my nanny cam. What if I had a nanny cam for myself? That's self-love. Set up a nanny cam, watch yourself sleep. Why don't I have a clone that can watch me sleep like my nanny? Okay, this is the most recent comment on here. My name's Miranda, and was there chips in my teeth the whole time I was just talking? I turned off, I'll be totally honest, there was a cut like 5 minutes ago because I turned off the camera because I ended up eating the chips. I really wanted them so bad. And I didn't have too many. I didn't feel out of control. And by the way, it's not that I don't think I deserve chips when I talk about like eating them too quickly. I just think that especially for my like sensitive stomach, eating like 850 calories at once or whatever it is, like it's a little bit much for the body and the brain sometimes. It's a little too stimulating in many ways. My name's Miranda and I keep laughing every time you say my name. Cry laugh emoji. That's nice. I'm glad to know that Miranda is out there 45 minutes ago and was laughing and cry laughed. Do you guys use the cry laugh emoji? Because this interesting thing happened for me where like, I think it's kind of like the cringy one to use where like people who but then I started kind of using it with people who use it, but then I feel like I'm being fake because it's like, you have any emojis that you use ironically? Like a lot of times when I put the heart, I don't use a lot of like sincere hearts. Like if I'm saying like love feelings, I'll just say it. But when I put the heart, a lot of times it'll be like bestie, like with the heart, you know, like kind of a heart in jest. Okay, there's a Goat Yay song title. Okay, here's another one. I'm eating my bowl of peas right. I'm eating my bowl. I love that. Peter. This is a guy named Peter. Maybe this is who I saw at the stoplight. I'm eating my bowl of peas right now. Like, we're all familiar with your... Why am I roasting him? I'm eating my bowl of peas right now. This is so funny that I choked on one of them. I am now dead. Just kidding. I choked on one of them, or maybe 2 to 3 of them. It's hard to tell once they're in your throat. I like that. I'm liking that comment. It's hard to tell once they're... This is... I like that story. And I like that I made a man named Peter laugh. And he looks so joyful. If anyone wants to see Peter, go to Explaining My Live Breakdown last week, comment section. And he's there, smiling at all times for the rest of time. I love the second channel. Everything is so random and fun. Okay, now this is just me reading compliments. Thank you, Francis. Just saying, what if I just sat here and said thank you to every compliment and said, I hate you to every insult? Let me see if I can find a mean one. No, that's a horrible... And then you'll just see my mental health decline in front of your eyes. Okay, this one's not really nice. It says, the video is called Why My Acting Career Failed, and they said, why is this an hour long? Why is this an hour long? Because it took like 5 years when I was supposed to make it 10 minutes? Come on. I'm mad at you. This was not a good idea. It feels so validating to hear you talk about imagining doing the worst things. I do the same thing and it feels so awful and makes me doubt. Wait, should I not be reading? I guess they posted it publicly. Is this copywritten? What if I get a copyright strike on my YouTube channel because I read Han Will's comment? That's a cool name. Han Will. I think her name's Hannah. I'll cry for hours sometimes imagining being the absolute most horrible version of myself. Totally get it. Anyway, that was fun, somewhat. So comment on this video, maybe next, no. I like have this thing where it's like I am a YouTuber, but part of me is like, don't be too YouTuber of a YouTuber, because you're one of those YouTubers who's not a YouTuber, you just happen to be doing your other thing on YouTube. But some people are YouTubers and they make YouTube videos. You make videos that happen to be YouTube videos. But I don't know if that's even true. I'm pretty sure I make YouTube videos. Go through my thumbnails. Those are YouTube videos, sweetheart. Why am I calling you sweetheart? I don't even know you. How long has this been? Anyway, Patreon. I had an idea too that I want to do like a movie club for like people who don't read books, where I've like heard podcasts do this where they say like next week we're watching this movie and then they talk about the movie. And so it'd be kind of fun. Stuff like that. Someone told me to do a tutorial on how I make my music. I thought I'd do something like that. So if you want to do it, don't have to. People have already done it. It's like, it's very helpful to me because I've had trouble lately, honestly, with YouTube and like monetization and all this stuff. It sucks sometimes and it's hard sometimes, and like you'll make a lot less money and nothing has changed. You know, you could get this, I don't know if you guys know this about YouTube, but like you could make the same exact video with the same exact amount of views posted in a certain month and make 5 times more money. And then the next month, you know, 5 times less. So it's like, it's kind of like, it's amazing to be able to make money that way, but it's so stressful to never know what it's gonna be. I guess the trade-off is worth it. But anyway, I have a $30 thing on Patreon where I said I would sing your name at the end if you pay me $30 a month, which seems ridiculous, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. Oh, before I do that, I also just want to say, I had like a little story of my day today, and I thought maybe it could be somewhat helpful for someone watching this, because, you know, I didn't have anything to do today besides this, but I woke up and I started filming a video, and I did like 2 minutes, and then I felt like horrible about myself, and I felt like I was being boring, and this thing happens where all of a sudden it's all gone, and I get this like confidence burst. It's like some kind of mixture of my emotions at that time. I always think that it's because of what I ate, and then I try to recreate it. I'm like, well, if I ate the same type of chips again, and I had an antacid, so maybe it was that, and I took a shower, and and then it doesn't happen, and I feel bad again, and I just kept, and this thing happened where I went, I guess I'm depressed today. I guess it's hope, like I guess I'm just sad. Like I guess I'm just gonna live a sad day. And I tried to like give myself a break about it, but it was that type of, you know, there's the version of depression where I'm just tired for me and it's like more of a physical thing and I can still like watch a show or whatever. And then this other one where it's like torturous, where it like doesn't even feel good to lay down and do nothing. It just feels like all I can think about is how I don't like myself and how nothing is worth any, like it's this, it feels like this unstoppable thing. And I'm not telling you that you have to do it this way, because it can be so hard to push yourself, and it's so hard for me to find like the balance of like giving yourself a mental health day, giving yourself a break, doing self-care by letting yourself go and taking away responsibilities, and the difference between that and just pushing yourself anyway because it's good to, but also not wanting to burn yourself out. You know, like that kind of push and pull type of thing can be so hard to navigate, and there's no perfect answer, I think. But today, I decided that I was gonna take a walk anyway. And I said to myself, this is probably gonna be uncomfortable for like 4 or 5 minutes. Just like the annoying stuff that people say, the annoying advice of like, just go for a walk. I know it's like annoying, but I'm just telling you my day. I went for a walk. I put on music. I put on a song that's like, you know how you have those songs that are like your trusty songs, that it's like no matter what, like this is gonna do something, even in the worst times. And I started walking, and it started feeling better very, very slowly. And I actually had to get my blood drawn. That did not help, actually. I almost fainted. It was, hear about it on Patreon. I don't know, that's not a good teaser. Probably though, I'll give you the blood draw story. But I kept going, and I went to the store and I did something, and I realized that I had this moment where where a lot of times during my days, I will go, oh my God, I'm getting anxious. Oh my God, I'm getting depressed. Oh, I think I'm getting depressed, and I have depression. So now I'm going to be depressed today, and I'll just wait for it to go away. And that, again, is okay sometimes. But sometimes I've been trying recently to go, it's literally like the most annoying person who doesn't understand mental illness advice, but just to try it out for myself to go, well, let me pretend that I'm not. What would it look like? Like a therapist would say to me. Like I was trying to watch a movie the other night, and I could not focus on it. I swear I could not. It wasn't me like pretending and just being addicted to my phone and saying it's focus issues. Like I really could not. I was not looking at anything else, and my brain was somewhere else the whole time. I was looking at only one screen. That's my 2022 bragging. I was looking at only one screen. And I was like, oh God, so I can't watch movies. And then I went, what if I pretended like, right now, what if I pretend like I can watch a movie? What would that look like? And I did it, and I was all kind of like, I was a little more able to watch the movie. It was not perfect. I was still thinking about a lot of things, but there was some kind of power in that. And today I kind of went, what if I just like picked my feet up and went outside, and then if it sucks that badly, I'll go right back in. And I'm just gonna commit to like a 90-second walk with a song that I like. And let's just see if I feel worse. And it's happened before, that I won't lie, that I have felt worse. And all of a sudden then, a motorcycle goes by and I don't like that person, and I wish that he'd get off and say sorry. And then a lot of other times, even if after that I keep going, there just never seems to be any moment. Because I felt myself today where I really went, oh no, it looks like I'm depressed again. Look, this is a bad one. I think this is gonna be like a 2-3 monther. Like we're going deep wow, I don't think it's ever, and I always say that. And I forget that so many of my days start that way. And it doesn't end up happening. The guesses that I make in my brain for what's about to happen for a long period of time, or what's never going to stop, or what has no ability to be changed in any way, are almost always wrong. And we want to be right so bad, but I'm just trying to be more comfortable with being wrong about the stuff I decide is inevitable, and because there's kind of like an ego thing there where it's like, I think I've talked about this before, but it feels like if I decide that I'm depressed, and then all of a sudden I can go take a walk and I start smiling, then I guess I wasn't depressed for those first 2 hours, was I? Why was I being so lazy if I could have just, it's like this thing where I'm invalidating myself by having a good day when I told all my friends I'm having a bad day. And then what if they see me smiling on Instagram and, but it's just gonna change, and I'm just gonna feel different things every day. But yeah, I just want to tell kind of a good story that I'm feeling okay because I went outside. Not that everyone has to, and not that I do every time I feel bad, but I have learned that it does not seem to help to just sit in my room, because if you're sitting in your room, your whole life is your room. If you're sitting in your room, only choices you have are a pet, if you got a pet, your brain, or the computer. And only one of those things makes me happy, and it's the pet. And I hate to say it, but the pet gets a little old after a while, and you start searching for the brain or the computer or the phone. And you can't live, if you live, you ever just live on the computer for like a day, and then you go outside and you're like, oh, I forgot this was still here. I forgot, oh, you're a person. I forgot that you were still a person. Huh, I thought you were the text message notifications. You're a guy. Huh, well, look at you being a guy and not a text. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing now. I hope that meant anything to you, Morgan. Is it? Is it, Morgan? Yeah, Dad! Can I please say something? Yes, I'm sorry. I have had depression too. I couldn't think of anything. He goes on his own monologue. Here's what I did with my day. I take medication. Or like last night, literally, I had this moment where I went, I think I'm having an anxiety attack. And I went on my phone to my heart rate app and I was like, oh, 95, that's pretty high. Okay, here we go. And I used to do that every night for a long time. I'd go, here we go. Better ride the roller coaster. There's nothing else I can do. And I just had this moment where I went, I'm having an anxiety, and then I went, no, I'm not. And it helped, you know? I just went, no, I'm not. I just feel kind of anxious. I'm not gonna, something isn't about to happen. Nothing's about to happen. I'm just gonna sit here. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sitting here. And I know that someone else watching, that you might be watching this like, I wish I had the power, because whatever place I'm in mentally or practicing with that stuff or the medication I'm on, you know, some people are just not able to go, no, I'm not. Like, it just happens. It'll take you away. It'll swipe you up. But I have been working on it, and I was so excited that I was able to do that, because I just went, what if I didn't have an anxiety attack right now? And what if I just feel a little bit nervous and I'm trying to turn it into something else for some reason that isn't my fault, and whatever, let's move on and like just sit and watch this video I was watching anyway about the making of SpongeBob. And it was pretty interesting. You ever get recommended a video on YouTube and then all the comments are like, anyone else recommended this? I know that's supposed to be like a warm feeling where you feel in tune with everyone, like you're eating ice cream, but I always go, oh, whatever. I guess I'm not special. You think you're cool because you watch the same. No, this is my video. I always want to be an indie rocker. Anyway, let's sing these people's names. And on Patreon, on Instagram, I'm saying nothing but jokes and toxicity. But on Patreon, I guess I wanted to talk about VidCon, but I feel like I've told all these stories already. And I want to, okay, yeah. I'm sure it'll be, I'm gonna get too personal on there sometimes. The other day I posted a video that's gonna be on my main channel just to see what people thought of it. Just stuff like that. Am I seeming desperate? I'm seeming a little bit desperate, and I'm preparing myself for some negativity, and that's okay. And it's not gonna give me an anxiety attack because I have so much power now, and so do you. Not always. By the way, well, a lot of times when I talk about like the leaps and good things I've done with my mental health, it's like during a good mood. And then 45 minutes later, I'm like, oh, turns out that wasn't true. But as long as I can say it when I'm feeling good, it's still kind of nice. Okay, these are the people who are paying me $30 a month right now. Is this embarrassing? No, not for them. Blake and Riley, I didn't mean to say Kathy Gans' name in like a happier voice. I think Kathy Gans just sounds like an older person, and I appreciate them. Not that I don't appreciate young people. Winona, Erica, cousin maybe, Cassidy. Kenya, is it Kenya? I hope it's not Kenya. I mean, I hope it's whatever it is. Kenia. If I don't know how to say your name, then I'll spell it. Hey, hey. Pixie Locks, Haley again. I already said it, but it was an accident. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. I do appreciate life, and I am not mad at myself. What happened? Bye. I don't know what happened to me just then. Or bye to some people, but be right back on Patreon, I guess. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not. I am. But I'm okay.